Hello, Joseph here again today. I'm here making another video on regards to too much irons in the fire. Basically, what I mean by that would be like you're trying to do too much at once, and stuff, which is a tendency what I tend to do in the beginning, and even nowadays I do it a little bit here and there, and stuff. By irons in the fire would pretty much mean that you're trying to start a ton of different businesses, and you're trying to make money from all of them, you know. One, I think the problem with that, I'm not saying it can't be done, but I think there's an order in which you got to do this. Like you can have many irons in the fire, many opportunities for business, and you can keep them in the fire and they're all heating up, But I think it would be kind of like comparison to, so you get where I'm coming from to get the point of it, is why it's not easy. Is like, say you have 20 movies to watch from or 20 video games. Is it easy to choose what video game or what movie to watch when they're all right in front of you? Probably not, you know. So I think that at the end of the day, you end up playing one, and then you want to on to the next thing. You're like, oh man, that game looks good too. And you start wondering about that, and your focus is lost on the first game. You know, and stuff. So I think the same with the movie. You watch it, you're like, I'm not feeling it. Let me check out one of the other movies. So the same thing in business. You got to be how do you say really stick with one. Like if you were to you were to have something in forging. You would have one piece of metal, and at a time you pull it out and you would hammer it, and stuff until it formed into something. You put it back in and you pull it back out and you hammer it. You don't pull that one out, start hammering it, put that one back in and grab another one, and then and back and forth, because ultimately if you keep hammering away at all these different irons you have in there, they're all unfinished, And if in business case, like if you're starting one business, you want to get to that business to the point where it's actually making money, I think if you get to that, you put enough attention into that business, and then it starts producing money, and then everything starts going well, and you got all the ins and outs, and you learned it enough, and you have the other ones in the fire still burning. As these produce and you have everything finished, you can pull out and hammer a little bit to give it a little bit of shape and put it back in. But keep your main focus on this business over here, at least until it gets to the point where it's big, it well, you know, and it's the main money maker, and stuff. And then if you're producing plenty of money and then it's more self-efficient, then you can put a little bit more money into this. In times of slowness, you can throw a little bit more money until it gets built, and stuff. But I think if you keep trying to hammer on everything, nothing ever gets done, And then you have a bunch of how do you say, businesses that are half producing or not producing anything, you know. And at that point, unless you have an unlimited supply of money to go back and forth and beat on all your irons, you're not producing anything, and eventually you're going to run out of money. So if you have a 90% business completed, and a 70 and a 50 and a 30 and a 20 and a 40 and a 50, that's cool. They're making progress, but at some point you're going to run out, and not just energy and stuff, but also money, unless, like I said, you have an unlimited supply. So if you can jump around, you can afford it, and money doesn't have no issue for you, then I guess you can do whatever the heck you want. But until then and stuff, it's better to stay focused on one until it produces, and stuff. And then when it's 100% good to go, and then there's still more room for other growth, but it's creating money, then you can put a little bit of money into here and a little bit of money into here, But you always keep your main sources of stuff into the one that's producing. It's the main income, It's like saying a side hustle and your main job. But you keep your main job, until it produces. That side hustle can produce money here and there. You do on the side, like on a weekend. But eventually, if it gets to the point where you have enough money saved for your main job where you can actually grow this, so you have this well down enough over time from doing a little at a time, or it can actually be formed into a full grown whatever you forged, after beating on so long, then you find out all of a sudden one day you pull it out and it's 90% done, then you can, boom, you can hammer on that and finish it too. Then you got two producing. But I think that it's good to go slow in a sense on things like that, not to try to do anything, because I knew how do you say, I know that a lot of people is like, well, I'm on to the next exciting thing, or this is what sounds like it makes money. I even had a buddy that tells me, he's like, well, Joe, I like to go, 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 I want to be at a fast pace. Yeah, that's cool. I used to be the same way, but it hurt me a lot. I'll tell you, in fact, it hurt you so much that you spend so much time tripping and stuff and recovering from those trips, you never really actually get anywhere. You actually stay the same place because yeah, like you start going, and then you run the race and you think you're going good, and then also you hit the floor. You spend time getting up, and like I say, when you fall, it takes time to recover depending on how hard you fell. And then you finally get that money covered, and then you keep going. And at the end of the year, you look and you're like, well, where did all my money go? Well, from all those mistakes. That's why you didn't make anything. You can't make money just It's like you have $1,000, and then you went and did a job and you got it all done and you put a month's worth of work and you got back and you got your $1,000 back. You're like, what? I could have just kept $1,000. So ultimately the point is that be careful what you do, and stuff. And I'm focused on one thing at a time. And as each thing builds, then you can fully hammer it out and finish the next one too. But over time, or depending on how fast you can make it happen. But ultimately keep your focus on one thing at a time and let that iron fully develop, and then you can be in a lot better situation. And then yeah, I think that would be ideal and stuff. And like I said, most people also they want to go towards what's easy, what sounds easy. A lot of people, when it comes to opportunities, you're like, well, there's this piece of metal. This is just a simple thing, right? It's just going to be real fast and it'll produce right away. Because everybody has this thing. Well, I know this business is going to be fast, and I all I need to do is get a trailer, a truck, and then I can do this. But it's nothing is easy when starting it. What you're not saying is you still got to get the jobs, you still got to get the insurance, you still got to get your truck, you still got to get the trailer. So when you're like, oh, we can make a lot of money, and if we drill something, or if we do this, yeah, but you got to get other stuff. You got to get the main stuff. You got to get the equipment. Maybe you can make money, and it's real easy. So, but it's not that fast. A lot of people like go towards what's easy, like, oh, we can do this. This sounds fun, exciting. They always off to the next new and exciting thing. It just doesn't work that way. Anything, no matter what business is, there's going to require a cost. And to start it, no matter even if you know it can make money, that's cool. But every business can make money. Remember that and stuff. It's just that nothing is simple. You're not going to just jump into doing another thing without there being several costs, that are hidden or that you don't see, from licensing to whatever it may be, to insurance, whatever it is. There's always something more than just, oh, it's easy. It's not easy. And even if it is, it costs money. Unless, like I said, you have a ton of money, nothing goes that fast. So no matter how appealing it is, don't listen to what everybody tells you. It's easy because it may be easy, but it's not cheap. So remember that in any business you start, it's gonna be a startup cost. So that being said, thank you guys. Sorry, little struggle here and there, but like I said, I'm new to this thing. I'm still getting used to these things and speaking more clearly. I'm trying. And thank you once again. You all have a good one, and I'll continue to try to make more.